Hey, it's your pal here, Stinky Dinky. Today, we're going to go over some miscellaneous tips for hunters that I've picked up and learned while I was leveling my hunter. Now, some of these might be pretty obvious to some of you, but they weren't to me, at least not at the start. And some of it might seem redundant or unnecessary, but I think they're pretty neat. Needless to say, this is just my opinion, so don't get your panties in a twist just because you disagree with something I have to say. Now, the first thing. I read somewhere that improved revive pet talent was a very good one, but when I leveled my hunter, I found out that it's not only a very good talent, but it is perhaps one of the best talents that you can have. Of course, that is while leveling. I cannot stress the importance of this talent enough. It does so much for you, it's crazy. Now some of you might be thinking, well, the pet is tanky, and if my pet dies, I'm a noob. And of course I'm not a noob, so what do I need this talent for? Well, my dear delusioned friends, the pet dies a lot, especially during the first 40 levels. Also, it is much better for your pet to die and you to run away than just for you to die because you feel inconvenienced by your pet dying. Now, what does this talent do that is so great? Well, first of all, it reduces the casting time of your revive pet by 6 seconds. That is monstrous. Revive pet grows from 10 seconds to just 4 for 2 talent points. Now that is value already. That means you can easily cast it in combat, even when you have a mob or two on you. Now Revive Pet costs a lot of mana. A butt ton of mana to be exact. And what is the second part of this talent? It reduces its mana cost by 40%. That's almost half off. If this was telemarketing, I bet your grandma would have ordered 10 of these by now. 60% less cast time and 40% less mana. If you do the math, that's a 100% reduction. Wow! Now the biggest issue with the spell is probably its mana cost. And as a hunter, you really don't want to be spending all that mana on one silly spell. This is already tremendous value.
But wait! There's more!
Not only does it do all that, if you spec it now, it also revives your pet with an additional 30% health. That means you can summon your pet in combat, still have the mana left over for a few spells, and the pet can actually tank a few mobs because it comes back with 40% health. That is insane compared to the untalented Revive Pet, which takes a day and a half to cast, costs roughly all the mana in the world, and gives you back a pet that probably also has leukemia. If you're still not sold on this one, then let me tell you. You get all of this for only 2 talent points. How big of a bargain do you want? Improved Revive Pet is a must. Now the next thing is about reputation. Hunters have a huge stereotype against them. Nobody really likes hunters, even though they do decent DPS for now, but still nobody likes them. A big reason why is the stereotype that everything is a hunter weapon. Or to better put it, hunters will roll on every weapon that drops, which is of course true. As a hunter, you must roll on those healing maces and... I'm joking, of course. As a hunter, you can really get by with anything. And my personal opinion is that you shouldn't really take priority on melee weapons, just as rogues and warriors shouldn't take priority on the very few ranged weapons that drop during leveling. Maybe you disagree, and you like snapping those blues and whatnot, but that is up to you. But under no circumstance am I allowing you to roll on a strength weapon. You just don't need. You don't need strength in any capacity. So many times has a warrior given me a hard time about joining a group just because he was afraid that I was going to take his two-handed baby. Don't need on strength. Now let's talk keybinds. It's 2019 and maybe every hunter in the world has everything bound. But let's talk about it nonetheless. First off, I believe you should bind Growl and remove it from autocast, because you really only need it once per mob and it does lower your pet damage otherwise. Also, if you don't have Aspect of Cheetah and Aspect of the Hog bound, I don't know what you're doing, but that shit has to be on a button. And of course, I strongly recommend binding that beautiful Revive pet. You might want to click that in a hurry. The rest of the spells and abilities I think are pretty straightforward. And you know what to bind and what not to bind yourself, because you're a big boy now, and I won't be holding your hand forever. Bind all the keys. And that's pretty much all the things I wanted to go over. Again, maybe it's some pretty obvious stuff, but believe me, there are people out there that need to hear this, and it will make their life easier. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like. And if you like more content, then consider subscribing. But if you really want to do me a solid, go ahead and share this, because that really does a ton. Until next time, peace.